US Trump, along with 18 CEOs of various large businesses in America, has visited China, Xi Jinping. So let me decode why they have visited. There has been a big agenda behind this urgent travel. For this, you should know what is Plaza Accord. So way back in 1985, unlike the America it used to be, they had a large trade deficit. Means whatever they export has been much larger compared to whatever they consume or they import, which is very bad for the economy or its growth. Second thing, US dollar was too strong that it is so costly for others to buy using US dollar, and they used to avoid US products. Hence a trade deficit. So US manufacturers or businesses has been struggling to sell products across the world, and then because of that the economy was going down. Then as always, the strategic US government, they called countries like France, West Germany, Japan and UK to a hotel named Plaza in New York City way back in 1985, and then they made a secret agreement. They all decided to devalue US dollar against all other currencies, especially with Japanese yen. Now what happens if the US dollar is devalued? The US dollar becomes cheaper and countries can easily buy US products using cheaper US dollar. So cheaper export means US can export a lot of things and their economy can grow. In return, what Japan got, they were allowed to invest in US, in the sense they were allowed to set up their manufacturing facilities in US, especially for auto sector like Nissan, Toyota, Honda, etc. These companies largely flourished there. So everything went well. The Japanese yen appreciated a lot against US. And what happened? The Japanese exports become costlier because the yen become costlier means it became so costly to buy Japanese products. So the Japanese economy went on a downturn. And then they had to reduce the interest rate so low as 0% and even negative interest rates. So lot of Japanese yen flew to US real estate, US treasury bonds, treasury bills, and even US businesses. So you should know that Japan is still the largest holder of US treasury bills, and floating the treasury bills or treasury bonds is how US raises capital and prints money and funds its economy. But now the Japan story is over. So US is against China to devaluate US dollar against Chinese yuan. But then China, Xi Jinping is also intelligent, and they don't allow yuan to appreciate with respect to US dollar, unlike Japan, because China wants to be an economic superpower, and if the yuan is appreciating, then the exports from China becomes costlier and nobody will buy from China. So they don't want that. But then China and US has come up with an agreement, probably, wherein they will devaluate US dollar against an asset class, not Chinese yuan, but then probably gold. That is why US has been selling gold left and right since last 5 to 6 months, and China has been accumulating gold, and this trade is not directly visible because US sells to China the gold via Switzerland, an indirect trade, but it is happening. So that is why you could see a surge in gold and all, wherein US dollar is depreciating with respect to gold.